Oh, again? Like I'm allowed to do it again?
Yeah.
Was I ever banned from doing it?
No.
I feel like I was.
You took a break. You took a brief break.
Well, we're back.
Yeah.
Hello, friends. Welcome once again to the Brain Candy Podcast. It's the best kind of podcast because it's my kind of podcast and it's your kind of podcast and it's our kind of podcast. So it's time for the podcast. So let's start the podcast right now.
Good.
I can't even believe I remembered all the words.
Right.
Because I forgot them when we did our trivia or our karaoke night.
Yes.
People were like, how does the song go? And I was like, crap, I don't remember. Like on the spot. If I'm not wearing the headphones, the mic is in front of me. It's like all of a sudden I forget.
Right. But somebody got it right.
Yes,
was that
they did.
Whitney, I think, maybe got it right?
Maybe. Shout out to Whitney if that was you.
Welcome, everyone. It's episode 244.
Yep.
We had such a blast at our karaoke
Oh my
event.
God, it was so much fun.
It was really nice.
You know what? I think based on what I gathered from this karaoke event, I feel like the next one should just be strictly Disney songs.
Oh.
Because that was my favorite part. I didn't know how much I loved singing Disney songs.
What did you sing? I didn't know. I didn't see
we
that
sang we started with A Whole New World with Little Mermaid. And, you know what? We just did two Little Mermaid songs. And then I sang with Sammy. What did we sing?
with Sammy.
What's the one? Under the Sea. That's it.
Classic. Oh, that's a good choice.
Yeah, and then I just liked that I got to Under the Sea.
Yeah.
And you get to do it like that.
I must have been mingling at that time.
You definitely were.
I was distracted.
Yep.
Because that was nice about it, that there was time for singing and time for talking.
My other favorite were the people who came to play darts and who were very serious about their dart game.
They weren't brainiacs.
They were not brainiacs. And
They just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, the kind of people who bring their own set of darts in a case that they open up. And you can imagine how frustrated they were with our, shenanigans.
This is going to sound stupid, but I never thought anyone had their own set of darts that they traveled with.
I put it in the same category as those who own a bowling ball.
Yeah, that I knew about, though.
Okay.
But I've never seen
darts out in the wild.
Yeah. Unless it belonged to the bar.
Yeah. You know what? I've never seen that either.
Did they have like a kit?
Yeah. It was like, it almost looked like an insulin kit, like with the zippered pouch where you like open it up and it's flapped and kind of like a soft but hard case. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. Yes. It's like.
Well, I bet they won't be listening to our show.
Probably not. So.
We had a great time, though. Thank you to all who came out. And I really do hope that we can have other meetups in different areas of the country.
Yes.
Out and about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have lots to discuss. You said you went down a weird rabbit hole.
Oh,
is that what it is, or wormhole? What is it?
Rabbit hole.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can use either. Really, wormholes, I guess, says that you're going to go somewhere. I don't know, whatever. Time traveling.
Who cares?
Whatever.
Anyway, what happened?
So my husband was like, I don't know how he follows a lot of tattoo websites.
Yeah,
and Instagram tattoo
yeah.
things. So sometimes on the discovery section, he gets some weird body modification pictures.
Yeah.
So he clicked on one, and all I hear from the couch is, oh my God.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, what is happening? And apparently, there's a whole world that I didn't know about of men who are cisgendered men who are into castration. And they call it nullification of the genitals. And this one individual, I read a Gawker article where they interviewed this guy, and he had the whole thing removed.
Whole thing?
Yep.
Can you be more specific?
The penis.
He had his penis removed.
Yes. It is called penectomy. Yes.
Stop it.
I'm not
He
kidding.
had a penectomy.
Yes.
And his desire was born out of...
He did not... Well, this is what they say, is they don't identify with those body parts.
Okay.
And I wanted to see what you thought about that. What is your thought?
Well, it reminds me of people who say that they're disabled.
Right.
What's
the
it called?
amputees.
Transabled.
Transabled, right.
And they get in wheelchairs even though they can walk and stuff.
Yeah.
However, this is far more severe.
Yes.
version because they're actually removing.
Yeah.
Wait, there were amputees. Yeah, as you said, some people like wanted to have a doctor remove their leg because they didn't want it anymore. Okay, so these are people that want that, but with their wiener.
And apparently, there's a very a larger community than you would think of this. And even oh my God, I'm ready. Trigger warning.
Oh my God.
There was a section when they interviewed him. They said, some people have a fascination with eating this. Have you ever partaken in that?
Oh, wow.
And the guy said, yes.
Eating
the testicles.
Why?
I don't
Sarah.
know. And he said there's in this community, there are people who are the ones who will do these free medical procedures, but their only thing is they have to keep the... And then they talked about how some of them keep them in jars. One man even put it in plastic and it has it as an ornament. I'm not kidding.
What kind of plastic?
Encased in some sort, maybe resin, maybe something like that, so he could preserve it.
I was thinking plastic wrap. I was I don't think that's going to keep.
Yeah, that's not going to keep. So
had it preserved in resin or something.
Yes.
And uses it as a holiday ornament?
They weren't specific about how.
Just an ornamental testicle.
My mind goes to more Halloween. But
what do you think of it?
I can't.
It makes me upset.
Here was the argument. So there was a doctor named Dr. Curtis Crane who apparently is the expert. No joke said this in the article that he's a penis expert, which I was like, okay.
Same. Right.
So he has been doing a lot of. He started with transgender surgeries, and he's apparently been doing, not a lot of these surgeries, but some of these surgeries, and says. His argument is that we masculinize females without making them go through a hormone change process. There are women who come in and say, I really don't want my boobs, and they give them top surgery, and they don't have any of the same hormonal requirements where you have to be living with male hormones for a while. But if you're a man and you come in and you say, I don't want my testicles anymore, they don't have that same feminization of the man without the introduction of hormones.
Wow.
And that was the only thing that was okay, well, that's interesting. We don't allow the feminization of a male, but we allow the masculinization. Well, my argument was, and the interesting thing is that the people who have had this surgery that he's done, they have to follow the same requirements. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's named after another doctor, but it's requirements for gender. What do they call it? Not reassignment surgery, gender alignment surgery.
What's that?
People who are trans who go through the procedure to have their penises removed.
Why don't we call it reassignment?
Because that would say that you're reassigning a gender through that, but it's really assigning the gender.
So that we've changed the terminology.
Yeah, to be now it's gender
alignment.
It's a gender alignment. So you're aligning your physical gender with what your mind says. So they've changed that name, but they're still following these same requirements, which says that you have to have 2 letters from psychiatrists before you go through this process.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what the heck kind of... Because I can trace back in this interview with this guy, he said that this all stemmed from an interaction he had in the gym, in the locker room when he was in junior high, where the older boys... He had bigger testicles, and the older boys grabbed him and said, how come you have man testicles but a boy body? And it was really shaming for him. And so you can trace back an actual moment that started, and I'm going, what kind of psychiatrist wouldn't say that that's the reason?
Well, maybe the psychiatrist did, but then this guy said this is the cure, and I'm not going to...
It's so bizarre to me.
Well, in that case, did he have just the balls removed?
Nope. He's the one who got everything.
And so now he pees into a bag.
He uses the restroom. He sits down when he pees. Or he uses a funnel. He talked about that.
They created a pee hole?
Yes, they rerouted the urethra. I read all about... I am well-versed in what this man has been through now. Right?
Oh, my God.
I know. So I was like, well, I got to talk about this, but,
I mean... I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But I got to talk about how much I love Beta Brand pants. And there's
Which
really
he would look great in now.
Right. There's really no good way to segue into that. However,
that really isn't. I set you up for nothing but failure with that one.
That's okay though, because I really do love my Beta Brand pants. Mm-hmm. I have 2 pairs now. I have the pinstripe ones that are black.
Dude, I love those on you.
They're so flattering and so comfy. And then I got silver. I guess you'd call them sparkly, but they're just sort of silver dress pant yoga pants. And they are so great if you have to go to a meeting or you work like a normal person in an office.
Yeah.
And the fabric is so soft, but they look chic.
Yes.
That's what I like about them is that like you look professional and chic, but you're wearing basically yoga pants.
Yeah. And they're super comfy and super stretchy in all the right places.
Right. And they make me look like 10 feet tall somehow, which I want. They just feel really good. And I encourage people that have to go to work and get, look decent every day, but don't want to feel uncomfortable to try them. There's a thread in Brain Candy Crush about like, people are like, did you try them? Like that,
cool.
What do you guys think? And everyone's saying, try them.
Good.
And that's why I started wearing them because I wanted to look nice, but I didn't want to be uncomfortable in meetings and stuff. So visit betabrand.com and use our code BRAINCANDY to get 20% off yours. Millions of women agree that they're the most comfortable pants you'll ever wear to work. That's betabrand.com, betabrand.com. Use our code BRAINCANDY and get 20% off your dress pant yoga pants, which are gorgeous.
If we haven't already sold you by the name.
Yeah.
Dress pant yoga pant.
I post pictures. Everyone sees how cute they are on Instagram. But anyway, so the thing about this story that you're telling me is that, and maybe this sounds unfair, but to me it's like, did you see any that were people of color?
Oh my God, no.
Because it feels like...
Okay, what is that about?
I feel like it's when you have no problems.
Dude, Susie,
that...
How did you point out this extra... How did that...
It just seems like that to me, that people in a situation where they have a lot of stress and stuff and oppression aren't in a position to be thinking like, I could really get rid of my wiener right now.
God, this is so bizarre.
And so that's what it feels like to me. But people that are going through it would probably say, that's ridiculous.
I mean, I am not ready to go down the path of looking up this online to really take a poll of the crowd.
Right, like what are the demos?
Right, I mean,
trend?
Because but apparently there's a whole community about.
Do the people that you read about acknowledge that this is could be classified as maybe like a mentally ill situation, or do they just say
this guy does?
Okay.
In this article, he says that it would take a psychiatrist because the person asking questions said something along the lines of like, how people think about how it came to be. And he said you would have to talk to a psychiatrist about that because it's different for everybody. So kind of addresses that there could be to me, it almost fits in line with body dysmorphia.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You would still, I think there are situations where people feel like, I think something needs to be gone or changed.
Yeah.
They get fixated on that being it. Then it's gone, but that feeling doesn't go away.
Well,
so then it's like, maybe I'll just take off more parts.
The people that did it cure the problem?
Well,
did they feel great?
This guy says it did for him.
He feels great now.
He feels great.
Wow, that
and
is
he
strange.
He says that he has intimate relationships with men that are so into it.
They make a vagina for that person or what?
No, he has face-to-face anal sex with,
because
he's
anal.
gay.
I'm so
He's gay.
Okay.
And most of the men are gay.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't put that together.
Then they have face to face because none of the parts get in the way, and he can still ejaculate.
What?
It's just a pool that is on. Yes, it just doesn't come out. He said it doesn't come out like a rail gun, like shooting out. It's just kind of
a slow drip.
Get
out of town.
I knew you'd be into this.
That is beyond
right.
Well,
and he says that there's a straight male that he has sex with who is.
What do you mean by that?
That the man says that he's straight, but he enjoys having sex because, like, it's less, like...
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it really is. So, he can, like, wrap his head around it a little. But really, I think this man is just struggling with his own sexuality.
On a journey.
Right, he's on his own journey.
Oh, my God.
So,
Sarah,
yeah, it's
you're blowing my mind.
Oof. there was a whole bunch of stuff where every sentence I read, I was just like,
Okay, so most of the time this is in the gay community.
yes.
All right. There's something to that then. Yeah. All right, because then they do have problems. It's not just, when you said cisgendered, I just figured straight also.
Right, but cisgendered is really just referring to just being in line with the gender that you were born with.
Right. I just
not to be confused with. So I specified because I didn't want people to be confused with these are trans men who, are.
What do you mean by that?
Trans women, I should say, people who are looking to have their penis cut off because
they're not. Is what you're saying? They are not that.
They're not that.
Correct. Okay, got it. Okay,
so there's that little nugget for you.
Similarly, I was introduced to a subculture that I had not been familiarized with previously.
Okay, I can't wait.
My friend Chris texted me and was like, "You have to watch a documentary called Tickled. Have you heard of it?"
Are these the people who have tickle fetishes?
Well, no.
Oh.
These are people who participate in competitive endurance tickling.
Oh my God. Like you have to try as long as you can to not laugh?
No, you can laugh, but you have to tolerate it for as long as possible.
Oh, that's like my worst nightmare.
And they're tied down and stuff.
Oh, this is a fetish.
Okay. So he was like, you have to watch this film.
Well, now I want to see it.
Well, you friggin' have to.
Okay.
I am still reeling from it.
Oh my God. This is my new favorite episode.
There's this guy that's a journalist who does kind of like human interest stories, but they're often like with curiosities in New Zealand. And he came across one of these videos of these guys doing competitive endurance tickling, and they're in like Adidas,
tracksuits,
shorts, and T-shirts.
Oh, got it.
Almost like a challenge.
Yeah.
And they're solid colors, and they look like they're really on a team or something. And so he's like, well, this is my next story. I want to do a story on this. And then from that point of the movie, which is like 5 minutes in, throughout, it gets weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder.
Oh my God. Where can I find this documentary?
I rented it on YouTube for $3.
Okay. It's worth my $3?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I think it's also available maybe on Showtime or something. But anyway, and I don't want to spoil it because you guys need to watch it. But in the end, like he asked for an interview with these people, and he got an email back saying like, we've Googled you and you're a homosexual and this is not...
Wait a second. The ticklers said that the news...
Yeah, they were like, you're gay and this is a heterosexual competitive sport and we don't want to be associated with you. And then it got worse and they started calling him the F word. And it got real weird.
Is a little bit of projection, if I've ever heard of any. I mean, for goodness sakes.
Right, but that's the tip of the iceberg because from that point on, it's like...
If you guys could see my expression, I'm just like dumbfounded.
You find out who's actually behind these videos, who's funding them, because the people that agree to be in these tickling competitions are doing it because they're offered like $1,500 for one day.
This is absolute. Okay, I have to know. Please tell us right now who's behind it.
Okay, well, there's this guy.
It's got to be a gay male.
There's this guy.
And they're oh my God. And he's in, this is insane to me. I'm just like.
I love that you haven't even seen it and you're like this. But there's this guy who is like, obsessed with tickling and is also very wealthy.
Yep. You know what this is reminding me of is that movie Foxcatcher with the wrestlers.
Oh, right.
And that we talked about. What the actual F?
But the real thing is, like, let's say you're a real rich, closeted gay guy, and you're into the tickling thing, then you can get these videos made, no problem.
Right.
But there's also a sadistic thing where once these guys feel like they've done enough videos and they don't really want to do it anymore, then the guy that's in charge of it gets angry and puts them all on the internet and ruins their life because who wants their family to see that they're participating in these weird tickle videos?
Is this?
And that's why
he's like blackmailing them.
Yeah. He wants
this doesn't even sound legal in a way.
It's not. He went to jail.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad the law is on the same side as me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is so weird.
And
sis.
then, so I finished the movie and I'm just blown away. And the last scene of the movie is really what sealed the deal, because that's the moment you realize what's behind all this, why this guy is doing it, why he's like ruining people's lives, and you can see what happened. It's kind of like the Jinx, where you're like, oh, like I see how you got to where you were, like how remember on the Jinx, his mom died or something.
Killed herself and he watched it through the window.
It's like that, where like you can see
I'm getting
the
chills.
human.
Yeah.
So I'm finished with the movie and I'm about to text my friend to be like, oh my God, what have you made me watch?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I should see like what happened, because I realized it was made like 2 years ago. And what happened after the film is even crazier. And the guy showed up at one of the premieres. And
the tickle funder?
The tickle mogul.
The tickle mogul.
And basically took these guys to task and called them liars and all this stuff.
Oh my.
It's crazy.
This is fantastic.
You have to watch it.
This has all of my favorite things a documentary film would have.
Right. It's
man, oh man.
And it's really stuck with me.
Jeez, that's bizarre. You know what? This is going to be a very themed episode then.
I know, because as soon as I saw it, I'm like, this is Lifestyles of the Weird and Wacky, for sure.
Because I got another one.
Well, what's also going to help things stick with me, though, is getting my memories digitized.
Yeah. And you know what? If you've got some family footage of anybody being tickled...
we can digitize it.
Yes, we can.
Well, we can't, but Legacy Box can. If you have those, reels or VHS tapes or whatever, collecting dust because you never can watch them, you don't have the equipment to watch your memories anymore, or you have all these pictures that, only you have hard copies of, they can take them and digitize them, put them on a thumb drive for you, and that way you guys can have them and enjoy them and watch these movies, especially like your wedding video, for Pete's sake. And it's just a great way to keep things that are special to you without them taking up half your house. And there's never a better time to digitally preserve your old home movies, film reels, photos. Visit legacybox.com today to get started. Plus, for a limited time, they're offering our listeners a huge exclusive discount. Go to legacybox.com/braincandy to get 40% off your first order. With this exclusive deal, Legacy Box starts at just $45 or save up to $200 on the largest Legacy Box kit. Go to legacybox.com/braincandy and save 40% today. Start with just a few tapes or digitize your entire collection. Visit legacybox.com/braincandy, enter our code BRAINCANDY, and save 40% on your Legacy Box today. Get started preserving your past. You have to watch the film.
I'm going to. This is going to go...
Because then we got to talk about it.
I mean, I got to know.
Yeah, and I know our listeners will be into it because, like you said, it's a lot of different things that are interesting to us as a group of people.
Wow.
Anyway, so thanks to Chris and Albert for telling me about it.
Yeah.
They were like... You met them, actually, the guys that...
own
the chocolate company.
Oh my gosh, they're so nice.
Yeah. And have great taste in documentaries, evidently.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was like, this is like Lifestyles of the Weird and Wacky, and we haven't done one of those in a while.
Yeah.
I'll have to see, like, on my list here if I have, like, other weird, and I'm sure I do.
Yeah, I read an article on BuzzFeed that was titled, I Found God in Kink, and it was all about how women who are in the BDSM community in New York, they were talking about the percentage of their clients who are Hasidic Jews.
What?
Give me an estimate of what you think a percentage of
the BDSM community is Hasidic Jews.
Like this, one woman who works in New York City as a BDSM dominatrix.
Yeah. She said, like, this
percentage of my clients are
20?
75%.
Okay, what's with that?
I know.
What is with it?
I was going to ask you, because I'm like, what is it?
Well, tell me more about what goes on, and then I'll try to analyze it.
So, they're very conservative, obviously, Hasidic Jews, who want to involve religion, aspects of their religion, in the BDSM and in the kink by doing things like dressing up in garments that are worn for religious services. One of the things she described was almost like a, what they call mitzvah bath.
Yeah.
But it turned into sort of like a wet t-shirt contest.
Oh my
and then
God!
Sometimes like sacred, there's something that they use. It's like a box that's wrapped, that the Torah is wrapped in or something like that. And they want to be binded in that stuff.
Okay.
And then one of the men who was interviewed for this said that he is no longer connected to his religion, and he's just he's doing everything like he's more connected to this kink community and this BDSM community, and he's really just like going through the motions, and he's doing all that. But then, I mean, they're married, they're children, the whole thing, and apparently it's much larger than...
I'm confused, though, about how they reconcile... Are they doing this with a hooker?
Yeah.
Well, how does that match up? They're not allowed to do that.
Of course they're not.
Well, so I'm confused because...
It says, while Moshe spoke, and they changed his name, spoke candidly about his
They
life.
changed it to Moshe?
Yeah, I mean, because it's got like...
Okay.
It couldn't be Jim. Then we wouldn't believe it. He always emphasized the fact that he is one man who is still grappling to understand his own psyche and is not a representative for a larger sect or for anyone else's desire. He's not alone, however, as someone in the intersection of New York's dominatrixes and the city's most devout Jewish communities. So it's basically saying, like, this is going on.
I don't get why they can't do it with their wives, though.
Well, that I think is it says if someone's always been taught that BDSM is wrong, that it's deviant, and that it's not holy, that's likely to make them feel especially conflicted. And so they turn to this service. I don't know why. It's especially something about, to me, it says something about the repression of things causes it to come out in other areas even stronger.
I see what you're saying, and I see how... When, we talk about how if it fires together, it wires together, and things like that. Yeah. I can see how that would happen with religion, and how, when you hit puberty, that's when a lot of, like, religious rituals are.
Oh, my God, that is it.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay.
What?
I think you're onto something.
Okay, so you think...
this lines up with the time in their life when they're coming into their, like, feeling sexual awakening feelings they're coming into puberty.
Yeah.
And they're also at the same time going through religious...
Like bar mitzvah.
Yes.
Okay.
That something about their first thoughts of sexual experience are happening simultaneously to when...
Important religious events.
I wonder if this is in other cultures that have, like, if that age is...
I should ask my friend Kelsey because
this is really interesting.
She's a PhD in sociology, but her specialization is in the sex lives of evangelicals. But
okay.
She knows about
this
sex and religion, period. So I'm surprised she wasn't interviewed in that article, but... There's
a woman whose name is Allie Rowbottom, and she's the academic advisor and therapist for the Center of Jewish Intimacy.
Oh,
and
wow. What'd she say?
She said she's not familiar with that.
Okay, my God.
Her quote was, "I'm personally surprised by how commonly you and your colleagues see this."
Oh, my God.
She told me more shame about it and certainly more tendency to pathologize it, so there's less openness and exposure and discussion of expectations. So...
Well, it's weird because in Kelsey's research, she talks about how evangelicals have similar restrictions on sex, of course, but within marriages, anything goes.
Well, that's what they said is that
right.
Within the Jewish community even encourages that kind of sexual exploration between husband and wife. And I think it has, there's even oh my God, this was so weird. But there's, not weird, but whatever. There's an entire genre of porn dedicated to this called From Erotica.
Why?
I don't know.
Why is it called From?
Because that means, I guess it translates to Orthodox, meaning Orthodox.
I thought you meant F-R-O-M.
Oh, F-R-U-M.
Okay.
From Erotica. From.
I was like, what are you saying?
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I really think they should probably just do that with their wives then, if that's what they're into.
And oh my God, it also said the emergence of the internet was a reason why this, people are seeing more of this now. And I don't know, they didn't it's one of those things in articles where they said it, but they didn't freaking explain why.
Right.
Or it just says.
And you're just supposed to nod oh, okay, yeah.
It may, just yeah, okay, that's it. It's just the internet came to be, and now we see more of this. Okay, but I'm going to need a little more detail
I
there.
can see why there'd be more viewing of the videos because they can access them easily. But
or
I can't.
maybe they're not able to act like they're not supposed. I don't know. It's just.
This is all very surprising.
And she said she found most of her clients through the back pages in Craigslist, but then there was that law that was passed that said you can't have back pages of Craigslist anymore. And she said it's so popular that she's certain that if she were to just go out on the streets of Brooklyn dressed in leather and handing out flyers, she would get enough clients.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So what? All right. Well, that is news to me.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd drop that one on you too.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of Hasidic Jews in the BDSM community.
I'm gonna like it's a problem when it's something that I do for my work because then I'm like stuck in this thing. And we need to move on. But, I mean, that is bonky.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, I'll have to look into it.
Yeah.
Good night, Irene.
Good night.
Okay. There was this guy. This is a quick tale.
Mm-hmm.
He was out at a bar, and he left his phone on the table for just a second, and then came back, and the phone was still there, I guess. And then he went home and got a message from a woman who was like, you have to pay me X amount of money, or I'm going to tell your wife you're cheating on her. And he wasn't cheating on her, so he was like, what the heck? And so she's like, I had your phone, and I'll send her the pictures that I took, or something.
Like she took the phone, took pictures,
I guess,
and then held it ransom for.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Weird, right?
Okay.
Maybe she texted herself from that phone or something.
Yes, probably did.
And so he had to set up like a whole extortion thing with the police to catch her. And she admitted that she did it. And then she said that she was just trying to get money because her loved one was ill.
Uh-huh.
And, one of those stories.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's not, this story isn't shocking in the sense that like, okay, it's a crime. They needed money, whatever. But like, I don't know. It just made me think like, why doesn't it happen more? Because we all have our phones. Like,
dude, it does.
Oh. What?
When we did that episode about when that caller called you.
Yeah.
My friend Sarah texted me and she's like, oh my God, I have to tell you the story that really happened to a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Like a dad from Dana Point who has a daughter who's like our age. Somebody called him, said that he had that the daughter was being held for ransom.
No way.
And not only that, this guy emptied out every one of his bank accounts, put money. These people had him driving all over the city, putting money in different, like for real, emptied out. And like they're finally, and then they said that like we are tracking, we have tracers on your phone if you try to call your daughter or anything. So finally, like he went missing for like 48 hours, and because he was on this for real. Like Sarah said, if we wanted to get the girl whose dad actually did this on the show, that she would be a guest and she'd totally tell us this whole story.
So at that time, she was just living her life. She
living
didn't even
her life.
know.
But then dad went missing. And so they were like, oh my God, this is so unlike him. This is not something he does. They called the police. The police even stopped him, pulled him over. And we're like, is everything okay, sir? And he lied to the police and said, yes, everything's fine, because he was scared. The police had to stop him twice. So it's one of those where he was like speeding, got pulled over. He's basically got like this gun to his head via the phone.
Yeah.
And he had to like lie to the police.
Wow.
And it's a crazy story. And then finally, like, she finds the dad and she's like, Dad, I'm okay. And he doesn't even believe her. It's the saddest thing. And like, totally drained their bank accounts. I don't even know what happened. So, dude.
I guess you one-upped me on that story.
Oh, I didn't mean to.
No.
I was just saying that, like, this is like a real freaking thing that I think you're right does happen more often. And the police said that this is a chain. Like, they can't catch these people. And it's happening more often than you think, especially with older people.
Well, I mean, that is not a smart thing to do with your money. But what is a smart thing to do is to use the Robinhood app, which I just became familiarized with, and I'm so excited about it. I was just telling Sarah.
I know you've been squawking about this all morning.
I know, because it's fun. I'm kind of intimidated by like investments and things like that. Like I don't know what that's all about. So I downloaded this app, and it was super simple. And it lets me buy stocks in whatever I want.
Oh, Robin Hood.
Yes.
Steal from the rich, give to the poor. I get it. I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's an investing app. Lets you buy and sell stocks, options, all this stuff, commission free. And they want to make it so you can have financial services for everyone, not just wealthy people, which is nice? So cool.
Yeah.
And it's not intimidating. Like I said, it's super simple and clear. You just put your info in. And then it's what are your interests? And what type of stuff are you into? And then it'll say if you're, if you like makeup, you might want to invest in these things.
Oh, cool.
It's so easy. And Robinhood is giving our listeners a free stock.
That's awesome.
Like Apple, Ford, or Sprint.
Oh my God, you could pick one and then however well it does, that you get it.
Yes.
Wow.
They want to help you build your portfolios. Sign up at braincandy.robinhood.com. That's braincandy.robinhood.com. And, just see what it's like. Because for me, it was this is so easy and not scary and weird. And anybody can do it, even if you have $20.
Yeah,
so
man.
It's really cool. It's braincandy.robinhood.com, and you can get that free stock.
Check that out.
That thing you just said, though, about how the police pulled him over, and then he was like, no. There's a crime that was committed in New England where these people were burglarized by these guys, and there were 2 young daughters and 2 parents in the house. And they sent the mom out to go to the bank to get money. And, I think... Okay, so she had to get all this money out. And then there's, footage of it, the surveillance. And everybody now... Because now everybody died but the dad. They killed everybody. Even after she got the money out. And so when you watch the footage, all you can think of is, why doesn't she, do something?
Say something.
Because I'm sure if you just looked the right way, the teller would be like, okay.
100%. Dude.
It's scary.
Yeah.
And did you ever see that movie Panic Room with Jodie Foster?
Yeah, that's a good movie.
And the cop comes to the house.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. It happens all the time.
And they're like, is there a problem? Because remember he goes, if there's a problem, just blink one time. And you're staring as the viewer just blink. And she didn't blink. What would you do?
Fucking blink.
Me?
Shit.
Sorry, Linda. Right?
Dude,
It's horrifying.
Okay.
You would think that everyone would do it.
Yeah, but then I'm wondering what, because of this fear of authority figures, but then it's who am I going to see as the authority figure? What in that moment?
Know.
Will I see the
Who do
man
you
with the
trust?
gun as the authority figure who I have to follow the rules of? Or am I going to see the police as the authority figure in that situation who are here to help me? Weird. God, I hope I never have to do that.
Right. It's a rare occurrence, thankfully.
But let's be prepped.
Right, but you think, I would do this, but then
sure.
maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Changing the subject, but back onto weird and wacky.
Yep.
Did you see the new trend in swimwear? This is not an ad.
Okay. No.
Duct tape.
Just duct tape?
Just duct tape in it.
That seems like one of 2 things. Horrible removal or very cheap waxing services.
Right. This could go either way.
Yeah.
Right. These
as long as you don't mind losing your first layer of skin as well as all the hair.
Right, because they
What the hell
walk
are
the
they
runway.
thinking?
They're walking the runway wearing these duct tape bathing suits, and I'm using that term very loosely.
Is the other side sticky? Or
What
is
do
it
you
just
mean?
made out of duct tape?
I believe that they took duct tape and
for
stuck
goodness
it
sakes.
on their parts and made these really whatever you'd call that
Oh my God.
swimwear.
One of my favorite TV shows that really everybody who's a challenge fan should watch because it scratches every single itch is King of the Road on Viceland, which is a skateboarding competition that Trans World Skateboarding does where they take different teams, professional skateboard teams like Birdhouse and Zero and all those guys, and they have their little skate team, and they have a book of challenges that they have to do. And okay, now remind me of why I'm talking about this because I got so excited. Oh, right, yes. So one of the challenges is they have to go into they have to go get a hotel room dressed only in skateboard stickers. Like,
oh my God.
cover themselves in, like, make clothes out of skateboard stickers and then go try to get a hotel room for the night for their team. And like
that's harder for Harry, like, if you're a man.
And it's all hilarious. I mean, it's, like, so funny, but I'm thinking that the same thing that's walking down runways are what teenage boys are doing on skate tours in the back of vans as practical jokes.
Like, on one hand, these women look super sexy. I'm not saying they don't.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, like, their vagina is not like mine.
Right.
Or,
that's making my vagina hurt just thinking about that. Removal?
Yeah, like if you pulled it. Oh, okay.
That is
Think about
thin,
it.
sensitive skin.
Right. And some of us have more flaps than others.
Is this going up the... What kind of coverage are we talking on
the
the bum?
That's a good question. They were all front-facing in the pictures I saw.
Yeah, what's the butt look like? If it's like an up-the-bum situation, like, are we talking thong or are
Can
we
you
talking
imagine
full
how
cheek?
bad that would hurt your butthole?
So bad. It's making my butthole tighten up as we speak. It's making every part of down there tighten up as we speak.
Right. I mean, this to me sounds like a bad day.
I mean, I gotta look up these pictures
Yeah.
now.
Look at them.
How can I not? I'm like so tempted to
appreciate that
Google.
they like have different shapes and styles available. But who's selling these anyway? Like,
okay.
And don't you hate when they just are trying to get clicks and then they call it a trend? It's like, that's not a trend. That's just people walking down a runway.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to really do this, right?
Okay. Oh, God. We've run out of stuff.
Do they show the butts? Sarah.
Duct tape bikinis. Have we just found the craziest bathing suit trend ever?
Is that what it says?
And it involves duct tape. Yes. Okay. Well, one of them looks kind of cool.
See? They're not all bad.
They're not all bad.
But they would hurt your flaps.
Here's the thing, is that I don't want this to be presented to me as a fashion piece.
What do you want
I need it to be presented as an art piece. Like, to me, this looks more like art and like...
Yeah, good point.
Than something that's I'm going to, as a consumer, go out and purchase. Like, the idea that there is...
this is more of an exhibition.
And it says gold body tape now available with worldwide shipping. Order your own Black Tape Project body tape.
Well,
blah,
maybe
blah, blah.
the body tape doesn't hurt as bad as duct tape.
Look how cool that looks.
That is beautiful.
I know.
Maybe body tape is designed to be removed easily.
Yeah.
Like if you put it underwater or something.
Okay,
Wait,
it
but
was
that
on
wouldn't
Miami Swim Lake, stick-on bathing suits. Okay, yeah, I can't get down with that. And also, like, the idea... Okay, have you ever worn a waterproof Band-Aid where you're like, yep, this did the job?
I really don't think that the swimming is going to happen.
Like, you're gonna tell me to go into a body of water...
Right.
Designed to make sticky things not sticky. With a bathing suit made out of that.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
But if they look like those models, I mean, they should just be naked. We'd all be fine
They
with
should
it.
just be naked.
Yeah,
I'm
fine.
looking at these, and you know what? It looks like a bathing. It looks like... Wow. This just in. Don't wear sticky shit in the water. And also, regular bathing suits are just fine.
Right. If it ain't broke.
Don't fix it!
Right. It's not like the 20s when they were wool.
Wow. We need to see some butts. Oh, I saw a butt. Okay. Ask and you shall receive. Look at that. It is a thong.
Okay. Well, that
But
looks easier to...
strategically lined up.
That's not the same as duct tape, what you just showed me. Which,
Yeah.
that would probably not hurt.
I mean,
if
is
you took
this
it
what
off.
you saw?
Yeah.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
body tape, but yowzer.
Right?
And
My
also,
vagina would
I can
say,
see
"No,
her
thank you."
entire vagina.
Let me see.
I can see all the folds. Just I zoomed in for you.
Wow.
It's
You
nice
really
and tucked
can.
in.
Beautiful.
You know what?
Beautiful. Nothing wrong
Good
with
on
it.
ya.
Don't cover it, lady.
Yeah.
That's your first mistake.
Just let it all hang out. Yeah, they got real toit vaginas.
Also, another bad transition, but
Uh-huh.
have you received your Grove shipment?
Oh, not yet. I just ordered it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Sarah. When
Well,
it comes, you're going to die.
I know. But you know why? Because it has all of my favorite things. Cleaning stuff.
Yep.
And non-toxic stuff. And good for the house.
It's amazing. Grove, here's the situation.
Mm-hmm.
They, as you said, believe healthy, beautiful homes should be accessible to everyone. And they make it really easy to get products you can feel good about in your home and with your family. It's so easy. Here's the deal. Like, they have a bunch of different brands, Mrs. Meyer's, Method, Seventh Generation, all of your favorites.
Mrs. Meyer's.
And my box came and it was just like filled with all these amazing cleaning products that I already use.
Yeah.
And you're in control. You can customize the auto shipments. So, like, you don't have to worry about running out of all these cleaning products and all the things you use all the time in your house. They give you reminders so you don't run out of that stuff, and you can change your account anytime. Find out how committed Grove is to its customers with 100% happiness guarantee and free shipping. It's so easy to discover amazing and affordable natural, home, and personal care products with the confidence of supporting a safer environment for your family. Right now, our listeners can try Grove with a 2-month VIP membership and bonus gift by going to grove.co/braincandy. That's grove.co/braincandy, not grove.com. Grove makes it easy to have a happy, healthy home. Really nice products.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
It's a great deal, and it's a great service, and I love it.
And you know what I hate doing? I hate doing will you go to the grocery store to get those stuff that we need? No, you go.
Well, I bet you do, because you live like
a million miles from the grocery store.
Yeah,
so
just
it's like if we haven't bought toilet paper, well, guess what? Nobody's wiping their bum. We need a family cloth.
Put some duct tape on there. Yeah. Problem solved. Family cloth. We have a guest today.
Oh.
And I am so stoked about this author. Allie Rowbottom is her name, and she wrote a book called Jell-O Girls. Mm-hmm. It's also my August book club pick.
Oh, nice.
And it's a memoir, and she is an heir to the Jell-O fortune.
Get out of town. I can't wait. Oh, my gosh.
It's so good. And the book is phenomenal. Here's why. That's my new thing. We have this thing in my family where Adam will always say something, and he'll say something outrageous, but then he'll go, here's why. And I'm all ears, like, let me hear it. But so she is a PhD, and
oh my God. She
writes like you wouldn't believe, and somehow manages to tell her family story, which deals with a lot of issues with women in the family, and what it's like to be in a family where all the men are like too stressed about their fortune and their business, and the women are like bored and don't know what to do with themselves. Yeah. But then she also unpacks the way that Jell-O advertised to women, body image, how this
is everything you love.
Everything I love. And they talk about the way that Jell-O handled like relationships. I mean, Bill Cosby was their spokesperson.
That's right.
And then how it affected her individually, but also like where it fits into the culture. It's amazing.
This is super cool.
So cool. And so this interview that you're about to hear is really just me being like, I love you, you're awesome. But it's because her book is tremendous and you should read it.
This is great. I
can't
wait.
Welcome to the show, Allie Rowbottom, author of Jell-O Girls. Please read it, whether you're in our book club or not. It is such a great book and a really compelling read.
I am dying to know what she has in the trunk of her car.
You will find out. Welcome to the show, Allie Rowbottom. First of all, thank you so much for coming on the show, but more importantly, congratulations on your freaking great book.
Thank you. I'm really excited. It's kind of a surreal experience.
Yes, tell me what it's like. I can't imagine. Tell me.
I mean, a lot of people, and I've not had children, but a lot of people are equating it to. A lot of people who have done this before are equating it to having a child and then watching it grow up and leave you, which seems like an apt comparison to me. It's like I spent so long in the world of this book, and now I've sort of taken a step back, and I'm watching other people experience it, which is like both rewarding and sort of bittersweet. Like it's no longer mine anymore. It belongs to the world, and that feels both sad and freeing.
Yes. Yeah, even I noticed on the back of the book, it called the book, I'm looking for it now. Oh, yeah, Jell-O Girls is the liberation of that story. And I thought, oh, that's a good way to put it. It's being freed out into the world.
Yeah, it does feel that way. And, like, I think for me as a writer, it was the first story that I really, like, had to write. I had to write it to get it out of the way so that I could tell other stories. So for me, it does feel like a liberation. I'm like, oh, I can do other things now.
Well, and if we are comparing it to a child, at least your child is a successful one. Like, this isn't even a dud. Like, you created this masterpiece. This is what we hope for our children. So
Thank you so much.
Like, I'm watching as all these reviews come in, and I'm thinking, what must it feel like to get such a positive response when it's about something so personal?
It feels so good. It feels like the stakes are extra high. Like, one thing that I've noticed, and I think that this is, like, honestly something for me to work on and be really mindful about as this process of pre-publication and then, like, the book actually moving out into the world unfolds, is that it's really easy to get sort of caught up in the blur of it all and the sort of, like, internet, like, likey stuff and what list you get on and what list you don't. And it's you know, it's like anything. It gets really burdensome on the psyche. And I also think that, I mean, like, for example, honestly, so much of the hubbub so far takes place online, which feels like this alternate world. And then I'll step outside and into the real world, and it's so refreshing. Really, like, one of the happiest moments I've had in the past couple of weeks is just going into my neighborhood bookstore and looking around at all the books that are on the table and thinking, like, wow, my book's going to be on that table, I hope. It felt so real in that moment and so rewarding.
I mean, it must be really special. And I think about, I was so impressed with how you're telling, obviously, this very personal story of a family history, but you do so with an amazing ability to create context that I wouldn't be able to do with my own personal narrative. Like, because you intertwined feminism and consumerism and all of these big cultural elements into your own family history. How the heck did you do that? I want to know.
It took me so long. I mean, the funny thing is like, the book, it had to teach me how to write it, and it took, maybe 4 years for me to really understand what it was trying to tell me to do. And I think that's because I approached it with so much ambition. Like, I wanted to talk about, I couldn't quite articulate it, but I wanted to talk about feminism, and I wanted to talk about my personal story, my mother's story, and my grandmother's story, but I also wanted to talk about the story of where we specifically come from and the girls of Leroy, and this sort of like larger question of illness and its origins, and how illness is gendered and how it's then treated. So at first I just started by writing my mom's story and then mine, and struggled to sort of dreamily interweave a lot of that material about feminism and Jell-O and the girls, and then got stuck and sort of sat around with it for quite a while until I eventually decided that I needed to impose upon it a more traditional structure in order to just get all the information in there in a clear and cogent way. And that was a real good learning experience for me, because I think prior to that I had really tended towards more of a sort of, for lack of a better word, experimental structure with my writing. And this book showed me that I could use a traditional, or quote unquote, for lack of a better word, traditional structure to experiment in other ways. Wow. So that's sort of a rambling answer to your question, but it took me a really long time to figure out how to get everything in there that I wanted to. And I'm happy to say that at this point, I really can't think of anything that I wanted to include that I didn't get in.
Well, it doesn't feel labored or as if, you just put pieces together. I mean, it feels so poetic and beautiful. And I'd be like reading along and then be like, how did she do that? Where I would feel almost as the reader tricked into thinking, oh, this is just about family. And then next thing I know, I'm reading about friggin' Bill Cosby and seeing how, marketing and the way advertising talks about women and daughters and mothers. I was like, this is a genius. And I friggin' love it when it's a woman genius who's doing it. And at one point in the book, there's a question that's asked where it says, how does Jell-O make women silent? And the answer is by convincing us we're less powerful than we really are. And I was wondering if writing the story it was empowering for you, or if you just felt bogged down by the whole process.
First of all, thank you. I certainly do not feel like a genius in my everyday life. I think it's probably really common for writers, but I feel like I'm sort of one semblance of myself on the page, and when I'm writing, and like a totally different person in the real world. So thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I think that that convincing of women that we're less powerful than we are is so endemic to the culture in general. It of course, it's part and parcel of Jell-O's legacy, but it's capitalism, really. I did find this process empowering. At times, it was so emotionally draining, which I'm sure, readers can imagine, and a lot of memoirists say. It's just to go back into the past and dig it up. It's easy to forget that you live in a present that doesn't sort of have ties, or has ties to that, but is not that reality anymore.
Yeah.
But I will say that as a writer, finishing and having the book sell was so empowering. And then secondarily, it was so rewarding, given that this was my mom's dream, really, was to have her story out there. It would be interesting if she were alive.
What do you think
and I had written this book. I think she would be really happy, and I think she would just have the tiniest little tinge of oh, but I tried so hard to write that book.
Well, it was a team effort, though.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I feel like the reader can see that the way that she is present in your writing and the research that she did, I'm sure was so helpful to you, because she seemed like she was on a mission.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I could not have written, I just wouldn't have access to so much of her childhood and young adulthood without her having left me her memoir. And then also just the hours of conversation about feminism and the girls. I mean, I could trace it further back. She really started my career as a feminist very early in my life.
Oh, I really love that. That's so exciting, though, that you can then use what she taught you in a way that will now have an impact on so many people, because the book is exceptional. I'm sure you're sick of maybe it doesn't even absorb into you, but I can't say enough. This isn't even an interview. This is just me telling you you're awesome, but I don't care.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I will ask some questions. Hold on. Okay, so has there been a conversation with the corporation, the Jell-O, whoever people? Did they say anything about this, or are they silent?
No, I mean, no. I would expect them to stay fairly silent. It's funny because, when I, after the publisher bought the book, there's a legal read that gets done. So I talked with a lawyer about, potentially problematic, sentences even. And she was just like, yeah, I highly doubt that Jell-O's going to say anything about this, but there's really nothing that they could quibble with in the text. But it's so interesting. It seems to me, from everything that I've read and researched, that the company now which is owned by Kraft, it's really private. It, for example, they have a plant in Dover, Delaware, where they do most of their processing, and it's like top secret, like journalists can't get in. Yeah, and I think they say it's because their like manufacturing process is proprietary.
Come on.
I don't know. It's like, I think it's because it's kind of grotesque. I mean, they're like in their boiling skins. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they say, if anything.
Yeah, maybe nothing. And then you have, your family you spoke about, and there are people that are still alive that you wrote about. Were you feeling nervous about that, or did they have any comments?
Yes, nervous, but not about. I've had a couple interesting experiences, and one person that I'm a little bit nervous about. So most of the people who are still alive who are in the book, like secondary characters, not to call them characters, but like
sure.
Judy, who is my mom's best friend, is just so excited, and she's read it. I gave the book to my dad to read when it was in sort of a copy editing phase, and he freaked out, which I was kind of expecting, but we ended up sort of going over the areas that he was upset by and just having long conversations about it, and that was somewhat healing, I guess, for us both. Yeah. We ended up doing it a couple times, though. And then my mom's brother, who I changed his name in the book, but they had a really difficult relationship, and I'm a little bit worried about that. I just think it's always hard when his version of what happened would read really differently. Sure. And I think he hasn't written it, but if he did, it would just be a completely different story. I'm sure it will be challenging for him to read somebody else's version of the story. But I guess I would encourage, any families that are in this situation, like, to write multiple memoirs then.
Yeah, well, I always think about it, of course, each reader does through their own lens, and my co-host and I were both on reality TV, and I always think about how I happen to be a character on the show that was, very pure, and I always think about the people that are on TV that do naughty things, and imagine, like, what their folks might say. And maybe it's better that you had the opportunity beforehand to be like, here's kind of the gist of what I'm going to say, and get feedback and maybe unpack it a bit, and it could even help your relationship.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think I actually wound up writing an essay about my dad's relationship, or my dad's reaction to the book. But it was really interesting because I remember, like, decades ago, almost now, when I first started to go into therapy, my mom saying, when one person in a family gets help and decides to change, then the entire family has to change, or it's an opportunity for the entire family to change. And she and I did a lot of work on our relationship at that time, but my dad and I never did. And I sort of thought of, it turned out that him reading my book and understanding how my life had sort of been, was an opportunity for him to do some soul searching and healing himself. Like, he got into therapy. So that was kind of cool. Yeah.
That's big time. Anytime like a parent does that, I always think that's such a huge success. Whenever you've spoken to people about the book in these interviews, do people focus on the things you expect them to, or is it different than you thought?
Well, you're only my second interview, which is a great honor. I'm just starting to, like, talk more, I guess, publicly about the book.
Yeah.
I think I've been surprised and pleasantly so by how much people sort of focus on the like craft questions, questions for me as a writer, which is really nice, because one of my, like, fears, and probably just a little bit irrational, which I think happens with any big situation like this, but, like, one of my big fears was that the publisher would sort of sell it like Jell-O heir tells all, which is definitely not how I've thought about myself. both as just a person and a writer. But I've been surprised by how much that hasn't happened, I guess, and how much people are just actually interested in how I wrote the book, which is nice because I did a lot of studying about how to be a writer. Yeah. So it's nice to answer those questions.
Yeah, doctor. I mean, please. You did your homework. But I think that's a testament, though, to the way that you wrote about things that many of us deal with, like body image and relationships and things like that aren't specific to being an heir or being a part of a famous family. And so that way we all could read and be like, I get this. And then you, on top of that, had this bizarre family history related to a huge business that we all consumed. And that's a weird thing, man.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting, too, how many people have, like, funny and bizarre family lore and history. Maybe not as crazy as Jell-O, but I keep hearing people's amazing ancestral, backgrounds.
And I'm sure they're telling you, like, without you even asking now.
Yeah. That and, like, favorite childhood Jell-O recipes, which I love to hear.
Oh, my God. That's great.
Yeah. It's quite funny and unique. Well, I think, like, with the body image stuff, and just sort of the experience of being an embodied person in the world, it's like incredible how many things we feel such personal and deep shame about that are, other people are walking around feeling too.
Yes.
And I always find that, reading work that addresses that is so relieving. Because, even as I write about this stuff, like, I still struggle. We all, many of us do. So.
Well, and like when you would describe specific Jell-O advertisements and commercials that I remembered from my own life, and I had never thought about them. I had never thought about the way that they maybe promoted a certain low-calorie lifestyle or, whatever. And I thought it would probably shock all of us to think about all the messages we receive without realizing it and the way that they affect our own behavior in subtle ways that we never think about. And I thought you did such a great job of bringing attention to that. But how weird it must have been given that this was your family's company, essentially. Like when you think about the purchase of that company and how that's what we all dream about. That's what Shark Tank's all about, and these shows where it's like the ultimate dream. And then when you wrote about how your family, some of the members saw it as a curse, when you would think about the curse, did you think it was a real thing or just an idea?
I thought it was an idea.
Yeah.
I think even I think my mom sort of thought of it as an idea or sort of a misguided idea as well, that like she then discovered, she spent so much time trying to figure out what this idea really was, and then landed on the concept of it being, larger than her family and larger than any one family, but specific to culture, I guess, and this sort of patriarchy that's specific to American culture. I didn't buy it. I always thought it seemed, a couple of people have asked me what I would make of the criticism of sort of first world problems, the idea of great wealth as a curse. And I've just said like, I never really bought that great wealth was a curse. I think it's patriarchy in my book that's the curse.
Well, and if anything can put a magnifying glass on that, it's extreme wealth, because then you're not worried about how you're going to pay the bills. You can see all the other systemic problems that surround us. So that was fascinating. And there's a million other components in the book that I would love to explore, and I'm going to with our listeners because we're going to have this as our book club pick. So I can't wait to talk to them about it.
Yay.
Yeah, but I have one question I ask everybody at the end, which is, what do you keep in the trunk of your car if you have a car?
Oh my gosh. I have a car and it's a mess. So right now I'm sort of in the process of moving or have moved, but there's a lot of stuff still sort of stored in my car. And in the trunk of my car, there is a series of old outfits that I wore to show my horse when I was a child. So I have a pair of tall boots. I have a silk top hat, a hunt cap, and
this is the weirdest trunk ever.
Yeah,
Are you kidding?
A bunch of other like horse-related items. Yeah.
Wait a minute. So when you would show the horse, you would you would be required to wear these get-ups?
Yeah, and I'm writing about horses in my second book, but I still own the horse that I had as a child and showed through my adolescence. Yeah, and he's geriatric, so he's kind of like my like old parent. So I just moved him to California, where my husband and I just moved, and there's nowhere to store like a lot of my old junk, and I haven't really gotten rid of it because it's sentimental, but also I want to pass it on to someone who really needs it and not just dump it at Goodwill because I don't see what's going to happen with it there. So I'm just hanging on to it. It's in the trunk.
It'll find a home along the way.
Yeah.
I just hope so. Incidentally, though, did you say a top hat?
Yeah. At night, when you show like in a championship class at night, you wear a top hat.
What?
In the specific. Yeah. It's not like a super tall top hat. It's a short one.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's very silly.
Does it have a strap? So it doesn't fall off?
No, it's just like, no, it doesn't. I mean, sometimes it does, but it's rare. What you do is you take like Aquanet and you spray it around the inside of the hat and then stick it on your head and it sticks to your head.
I am learning so much from you again, all over again. I am a forever fan and I really am inspired by what a badass you are. So thank you for a beautiful book and for opening up your life to everybody.
Thank you so much for reading and for featuring it and for talking to me.
And thanks for coming on the Brain Candy Podcast.
Hi, you're so welcome.